When and under what circumstances does it make sense for you to hire a health coach? I'm Coach Ábris, founder of Demi Cycle Protocol, and in the past year we helped over 50 high performers and corporate executives sustainably go below 15% body fat, double their natural energy levels without counting calories, training more than 2 to 3 hours per week, or taking sedatives, sleep drugs, or abusing stimulants. So if you have similar goals and if you've been considering hiring a health coach, maybe even hiring me, then think about it for a second. When is it relevant for you, and is it relevant for you at all, right? So you always want to be aware of, okay, what is something that will work for you? What is something which is an investment for you with a huge upside, lots of return for investment? Of course, if you are experienced in the business, you already know what I mean by that, right? And you want to know the product, right? You want to know what you sign up for. You want to know what type of change in behavior you want to achieve if you want to get to your goals, right? Because it's always about a change of behaviors. And in what way should you change your behavior at all, right? And how could a health coach help you with this? How could you achieve results like, for example, my clients over here? Okay, now it is visible. So how can you transform like Devin, like Zhao, like Benjamin, like Paul, and dozens of other high performers and entrepreneurs that we helped over the past year, right? So, first of all, there are 4 main categories of people for whom it is relevant to invest in a health coach. And there are other types of people for whom it is not relevant. And hopefully, by the end of this video, you will know what category you belong to and whether it makes sense for you or not, right? So, this is the promise. By the end of this video, you will know it. And keep me accountable if you wouldn't be aware of it by the end of this video, right? Because it's important to be transparent and to see what's real, what's realistic, right? Okay, so according to my experience and according to what I experienced with my clients, there are 4 main types of people. There are the made it and want it fast people. There are the don't know, can't do people. There are the already know but still can't do people. And there are the people who still couldn't figure it out. Let me explain for a second, let me break it down to more detail. What are these categories are made of, what are the characteristics, and how can you identify yourself, whether you belong to one of these categories or not, right? So, the most common people that we work with are the ones who belong to the made it, want it fast category. Because as a man, there are multiple facets of life that you can kind of make it, right? Is it your physique? Is it your athletic performance? Is it your career, your business, right? Is it your family life? Is it your love life? Are you someone who is really successful in his marriage? Are you someone who have run up multiple 7, 8, 9-figure businesses, right? You could be any of these people, and probably if you're watching this channel and you are a frequent visitor here, probably you are one of these men over the age of 40 or 50, right? So if you have already made it and you know what it takes in one or more certain areas of life, you know that you don't want to commit the rookie mistakes, right? And if health hasn't been one of your key focus areas so far, then you don't want to make the rookie mistakes because you don't have time for that anymore, right? If you're past 40, past 50, you don't want to spend multiple years or decades trying to figure this out on your own, right? You want expert help that can get you to your health goals in 6 to 12 months, right? Relatively short period of time compared to what other people are wasting, going to the gym, lifting weights, counting calories, whatever, and still not getting results. Believing all of these different diet fads like keto, paleo, carnivore, vegan, whatever, and still not getting the results that they signed up for, right? It's pretty frustrating, and you want to skip this frustrating experience because you're smart and you know that you can outsource basically everything. You can afford to outsource everything that you're not an expert on. And this kind of skills of delegation are the ones that made your business successful, for example. So these are the made it, want it fast people. But if you're not in this category, there are people who don't know, and can't do. That means that they don't have the knowledge required to have a successful health transformation, right? To make it successful, because you don't really know how, for example, macronutrients work, how you can optimize your sleep quality, what kind of exercises to do, how to put together a program for yourself, stuff like that. So let's say people, just metaphorically, who don't know how to swim and they haven't read the book titled How to Swim, right? It completely makes sense, because if you lack the knowledge and you also lack the accountability and the clear game plan, then of course a program like this is for you. Investing in a health coach is definitely for you. But there are people who know but still can't do. This is the third category. So that means that people who read the book How to Swim, but when they jump into the pool they start drowning, right? It is, you have your basic knowledge about nutrition, you know that you are supposed to eat a high protein diet, but you don't know how to implement this into your lifestyle, right? And even if you know or have an idea about how you would implement it, you still haven't done that yet. So there is something lacking. The consistency, the accountability is lacking. You know how to lift weights, but you still have a hard time creating a schedule and actually sticking to that schedule, right? You heard a thing or two about sleep in a Huberman podcast, but you still sleep terrible, and it has been going on for years and decades by now. This is also another case of the relevance of investing into a health coach, because now with a proven system that helped dozens of men similar to you before, you can get there within 6 months without investing more than 2 to 3 hours of your time per week, right? It's like a win-win situation. It's an absolute win for you, because it's not taking time away from your business, not taking time away from family and your core activities, but you still not just learn how to do this stuff because you already know it, but you actually will do it. You will have a system that enables you to do it seamlessly and smooth. All right, but there are the people who just procrastinate and they couldn't figure it out by themselves. So if you happen to belong to this category, you might find it difficult to get started, but we have a couple of client success stories coming from this place. So don't let this discourage you. This just means that you have tried several different methods. You might have been coached before by someone who wasn't really a good fit for you. I'm not saying that necessarily they had less expertise. You were just not the right fit for their program, or their program was just not the right fit for you. So that's why I said be aware of what you sign up for, right? Do your own research, find out stuff. But if you decided that you want to invest, go all in, guys. Because that's what's gonna guarantee you the results, that you stay committed to something. If you're not committed, you won't take it seriously, right? If you do not invest, you won't really hold a stake in it. That's why people who hold shares are called stakeholders, right? Or people who have a meaningful stake in a company, they're also called stakeholders, right? Because there is a meaning in the whole process for them, in the whole organization. And the same goes for investing into a health program. So if you tried for multiple years or even decades to lose fat sustainably and you never succeeded because you always gained the weight back, or to fix your sleep but you still have sleep disorders or insomnia, sleep apnea, or just generally a hard time falling and staying asleep and sleeping deep enough, or if you have been going to the gym for years by now but still haven't seen the results that you want to see, then yes, you're one of the people who still couldn't figure it out by themselves. And there is no problem with it, because there are multiple solutions available, and probably one of them is a good fit for you. So for example, I'm a good fit for those guys who, for example, lead businesses, have families, are over 40 years old, because this is what my client lead consists of. These are the people who I can get the best results to. And people who travel a lot, go out, eat at restaurants, and they hate counting calories. If you love counting calories, probably we are not a good fit to work with each other, right? So it's that simple, that you want to find what works for you and go all in on that, right? So just cut through the noise. Have someone who helps you cut through the noise and keeps you accountable. Because let's be realistic. if you have been trying and failing for years or even decades by now, what makes you think that this year you will just all of a sudden figure it out, right? This year, you keep doing the same things that you've been doing before and the results will be different. It sounds a little bit strange to me, right? And if you have the same type of thinking about it, you can easily understand what I'm talking about right now. So if you don't change your behavior, or at least there is no incentive for you, for example, an investment, that could be an incentive for you to change your behavior, then you're not going to change your behavior. And guess what? You're not going to get results. So this is what I want you guys to remember, that if you want to make a change and you want a change to happen and to happen fast, you definitely want to do something differently. And if you couldn't do something differently by yourself, you definitely will need to have expert guidance and accountability for that. So if you happen to be one of these 4 types of men, then yes, investing into health coaching is definitely relevant for you. But what is health coaching at all, right? So don't mistake this with sports specific coaching. So if you want to improve not just generally your athleticism, but your athleticism for a specific sport, then go to a coach of that sport, right? Or if you want to become a bodybuilder or like powerlifter, go to a bodybuilding coach, go to a powerlifting coach, right? But a health coach is not a bodybuilding coach, it's not a gym bro fitness coach, it's not a sport specific coach. So you want to find a person who can provide you the guidance that's holistic and takes every aspect of your life into consideration, right? You don't want to train like Arnold Schwarzenegger, where when you have the lifestyle of a 50-year-old real estate investor, right? Or a corporate executive with 4 kids, right? It's completely different. You can't expect to train like a professional athlete, you can't expect to train like a tennis player, or you can't expect to train like a bodybuilder, and that's completely fine. But then, don't compare a health coach to a bodybuilding coach, because bodybuilding is very deep on one specific thing, putting on as much lean muscle mass as possible. Health is more holistic. What about your heart health? What about your respiration? What about your sleep? What about your recovery? What about your joint health? What about your mobility? What about your nutrition overall? How do you make sense of this in a way that, okay, you don't have to calculate calories, you don't have to restrict your diet, and how do you make it align with your hormonal balance, right? Many different aspects simplified into a system that's easy to follow for you. It's one of the most complex processes simplified into a very easy package that you can use for yourself. This is what health coaches are for, not for making you jacked as fuck and looking like a mountain from Game of Thrones, right? It's that simple. So if your goal is to improve your longevity, sustainably lose fat, have a lean body composition, be confident about your body, even above the age of 40, 50, have higher testosterone and energy levels, okay, and health coaching is definitely relevant for you. If you want to look like the mountain from Game of Thrones, or if you want to look like Conan the Barbarian, probably a bodybuilding coach will be better for you. And if you happen to be in the categories of the don't know, can't do, know but can't do, or the made it one fast, or for example, the still couldn't figure out, so if you're in one of these 4 categories, then yes, it's definitely relevant for you, and you should invest as soon as possible so you can get the results faster and you can sustain them for a lifetime. If you are one of the people who are not in neither of these 4 categories, right, and you kind of know, you're also kind of young, you also know how to keep yourself accountable, and you actually got results so far, you probably wouldn't be watching this video right now because you are happy with where you are, right? Or you may not be happy yet, but you're on the great track, and you know that either way in a year or 2, you will have an amazing physique, or in less, right? Because you're already halfway there. So you might just watch this for educational purposes, which I really appreciate. But then for you actually don't need to invest in health coaching. You can just go your own way and keep progressing. But too many men, especially the ones about 40, 50 years old, I understand that you might have a big ego, right? Because you achieved many amazing things in life. You built a family, you built impressive businesses, right? You have built up a career from ground zero to the point where you are today, where you are an authority in your own profession, right? And that's an amazing thing. And you are the head of your family, and that's another amazing thing. And I think every man should experience this at least once in their lifetime, right? But the thing is, have you heard this? This was Thor. Okay, anyway. But the thing is, if you still couldn't figure out your health, you have to take back from your ego. And you shouldn't think that, okay, if I could figure out business and family, I can figure out my health too, because I'm that type of dog who just does that by himself. No, you didn't do it by yourself, because even in business you had mentors. For your career that you have built up and the skills that you have acquired, you had teachers, you had coaches, right? And you know, even your relationship or marriage wasn't perfect from day one. You constantly had to work on it and improve it for years and decades, right? How cool that would be if you could just condense years and decades of knowledge and experiences and trials and failures into 6 months of health coaching, and then you could sustain the results for the rest of your life. Wouldn't that be amazing, right? So this is when you should think about yourself and think about putting your ego a little bit aside and consider that, okay, this might just be the golden ticket for me for being a healthy, vital, ripped, sexually active 70-year-old in the future, right? And as you have seen that my clients have already achieved it, and they are happy with where they are and they keep making progress even after finishing the program, then you can clearly see that, okay, this might be something for you, right? So it's that simple. I hope by the end of this video I managed to deliver on my promise, and you know the 4 categories, who are outside of these categories, and which one you belong to, and you have complete clarity on whether it is relevant for you to get coached by a health coach or not relevant for you. And if you happen to be in one of the 4 groups and you are ready to be committed to a program and you have just 2 hours of your time on a weekly basis to dedicate to it and take it seriously, and you don't want to procrastinate working on your health goals anymore, then I invite you to click on the link below in the description and book a free call with us, and we will come up with a game plan for you on how to achieve your health goals in a sustainable way, without counting calories, without spending more than 2 to 3 hours per week in the gym, and without following restrictive lifestyles and diet in 2024. So if you're interested, feel free to book a free call. If you are not in the 4 categories, if you don't want to be committed, if you are a procrastinator and you want to stay one of them, right? And you don't come with the vision of, okay, I want to invest in it. If you look at your health as a cost, as an expense, as a price, then, and you're not aware of the fat medical bills that you might receive later in life, right? And probably you shouldn't book a free call with us, and that's completely fine. I invite you to watch my previous videos where I help you get your brain in shape first, because if you have your brain, you have your mind in shape, it's much easier to get your body in shape and to synchronize your brain chemistry with your body chemistry, right? But for that, you need the right mindset. So I invite you to subscribe to my channel and watch my further videos. And generally, if you enjoyed this video and it gave you some sort of clarity on whether it is worth it for you or not to invest in a health coach, then please drop a like, let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and share this with your friends, colleagues, team members, family members, and everyone who could benefit from health coaching, or just basically some general advice on getting in the best shape of your life in the sustainable and no hassle way. So guys, thanks for watching, think about this, and see you in the next one.